If you talk to yourself when you're alone, not quietly in your head, but out loud, muttering, whispering, arguing, rehearsing, you've probably wondered at some point, is something wrong with me? Because society has a word for people who talk to themselves. Crazy. But psychology tells a very different story. People who speak their thoughts out loud aren't mentally unstable. They aren't disconnected from reality. And they're definitely not losing control. In many cases, their mind simply moves too fast to stay silent. Their brain doesn't just think. It processes, evaluates, predicts, and revises, all at once. And silence isn't enough to hold that much activity. So if this sounds like you, there are 4 psychological traits your mind likely has. Traits that most people never develop. Trait 1. Cognitive clarity. First, you have a mind that demands structure. When you talk to yourself, you're not creating imaginary conversations. You're materializing your thoughts. Most people experience their inner world as fog. Vague emotions, half-formed ideas, mental noise. Your brain doesn't tolerate that. By speaking your thoughts out loud, you give them shape. You can hear them, examine them, challenge them. Research shows that vocalizing thoughts activates analytical pathways that silent thinking doesn't fully engage. In simple terms, you don't trust raw thoughts. You refine them. You'd rather hear an idea spoken than let it bounce endlessly inside your head. You aren't struggling to think. You're thinking so deeply that silence can't contain it. That explains why you talk to yourself when you're planning, reflecting, or debating in the shower. But it doesn't explain why you do it during simple tasks. Why do you mutter when you're searching for your phone? Why do you whisper instructions to yourself while working? Why do words come out when no one else is around? That behavior comes from something even more interesting. Trait 2. Focus and perceptual control. Second, you use your voice to sharpen your attention. People who talk to themselves aren't filling the air with noise. They're directing their brain. Studies show that saying the name of an object out loud, like keys or wallet, activates the visual cortex faster than silent searching. Your brain starts filtering reality differently. Distractions fade. Relevant details stand out. It's called stimulus upregulation. But practically, it means this. You are programming your focus. While others drift through tasks passively, you actively guide your perception. You don't wait for clarity. You create it. You aren't absent-minded. You're precision-oriented. And your voice is the tool you use to stay locked in. But focus alone isn't enough. A sharp mind without emotional control collapses under pressure. And this is where your self-talk becomes something far more powerful. Trait 3. Emotional self-regulation. Third, you have advanced emotional regulation skills. Many people say things like this to themselves. Come on, you've handled worse. Or, you need to slow down. Psychology calls this distanced self-talk. By speaking to yourself as if you were another person, you create space between emotion and identity. You don't drown in stress. You step outside it. Instead of spiraling, you coach yourself. Instead of panicking, you observe. And by becoming the observer, you detach yourself from the situation, avoid spiraling into anxiety, and gain the ability to make clearer, smarter decisions in the moment. You don't need someone else to calm you down. Because you've learned how to regulate your own nervous system. You become your own therapist, your own motivator, your own critic. That's why in moments when others freeze or explode, you stay composed. Not because you feel less, but because you know how to manage what you feel. And once you can focus clearly and regulate your emotions, your mind does something else most people struggle with. It remembers. Fourth, you have a stronger relationship with memory. People who talk to themselves often remember things that matter. Not because they try harder, but because their brain encodes information differently. Research calls this the production effect. When you speak information out loud, your brain creates a richer memory trace than silent thinking. Sound, movement, context. Your mind flags spoken thoughts as important. So when you repeat something to yourself, you're not being obsessive. You're saving the file. Your voice acts like a biological hard drive, locking key information into long-term storage. You don't just experience life, you archive it. So if you talk to yourself when you're alone, it doesn't mean you're strange. It means your mind is highly active, highly structured, and highly self-aware. You process deeply. You regulate internally. You focus deliberately. And you remember selectively. Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's a high-performance engine. And every powerful engine needs an exhaust pipe. So next time someone laughs when they see you whispering to yourself, ignore it. And trust what you're doing. If you've ever had full conversations with yourself, drop your thoughts in the comments. You're not alone, even when you are. And if you're drawn to psychology that explains how your mind actually works, subscribe, because there will be more insights into your psychology coming next time.